Welcome back. You're watching Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. It's now time to get some consumer technology information. Now, you see, new technology has drawn consumers closer to their preferred brands. Now they have unlimited access to these brands. But we want to find out, are there any challenges with this? Are there any impacts at all with this? And to give us this information, of course, to help us understand all this, is the head of new media here at Citi TV and Citi FM, Eddie Poku. Yeah, we like to call him Eddie Pokes, the richest. Yeah. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Nana.
I trust you're well.
Yeah, it's great to be here with you talking tech.
Exactly.
There are several things I like to talk about, but tech is one of the top.
One of the top three, I suppose.
Yeah. So this morning we are talking about the negative effects of consuming technology. Technology has so many benefits, and we've been going through several of them over the past few weeks. The last time I came, we talked about the negative habits, and there were so many interesting things we talked about. And after I left the set, so many people came to me and talked about how they learned what to do through that discussion. So today we are talking about the negative effects. Okay, so as you use technology, based on how they are designed, the ergonomics, how long you stay on these devices, and they have certain effect on you in so many different ways. You can talk about health. It affects your health. How does it affect your health? For example, most mobile phones have what we call the candy bar design. Okay, so you hold it and you operate it with one finger most of the time. Now, we enjoy screen time so much that we are clamoring, you know, for screen real estate. You know, when the iPhone came out, I mean, in 2007, you know, it's amazing. The time passes so much and technology increases and develops so quickly. Now we have this. I mean, comparing this phone, which is not even the largest size you can get on the market, to the very first iPhone, you realize that this is so big, you know. And a lot of times you have to stretch across the screen in order to operate it. Now, as you do that for a long time, it has effect on your, you know, your tendons, your joints, and stuff like that. So what do you do to mitigate or take away the effects of such things, you know? So number one, you have to minimize
screen time,
which we've talked about severally. Like I mentioned, the software of the phone itself has a system built into it to measure how much time you spend on the screen and notify you. So daily, or let's say weekly, you go through and see which ones you can cut out in order to reduce your screen time.
But is there an ideal amount of screen time for an individual?
No, I wouldn't say that. It depends on what you're doing, because you know that the mobile phone or the smartphone also doubles as a productivity tool. Okay, so you have to balance it out based on what you use it to do. So going through your screen time, it will tell you what you did at what time. How much was it social media? How much was productive work? How much was messaging? Okay, so if you look at that and you have to cut down your messaging time or your social media time or whatever, then you do the necessary adjustments. Okay, at the same time, there are other things that you can buy in order to enhance. I would say even right at the point of purchase. Okay, don't just go, okay, I want the biggest thing on the market, just to tell everybody that I know I have the biggest phone.
Trending.
You know, but look at what will work for you, for the size of your palm. For somebody, even the biggest phone is still small because they have a very big
wide palm.
But for some of us, you know, we just can't work a big phone. So we need a very small phone in order to be able to be productive. Then again, if you are somebody that you spend a lot of time also on the screen, you also want either a big screen, a phone that has a bigger screen, so that you can have the text, adjust the text so that it comes out bigger. Okay, but a lot of time you just leave it in the default and you just use it. But on the phone, you have the settings, you can go into it, adjust it so that the text appears bigger. Okay, so you don't have to strain your eyes, because as you read on the screen continuously, you strain your eyes. And with time, it becomes a permanent. I don't want to go too much into the health tech terminologies because the doctors will come and beat me on this. So, yes, but of course, it affects you. Okay. Then you also have your social life, which is very, very important, and it can take a hit on your social life. I mean, these days
most people are losing actually.
Exactly. Yeah. So these days you go to a restaurant to have a meal, because as human beings, that's one of the times that we catch up and you know, fraternize, you know. And you go to a restaurant and everybody is on their mobile phone. You know, everybody is on their mobile phone. So that particular engagement is defeated because of the mobile phone. Is it helping? Okay.
So we are losing more face-to-face time.
Exactly.
Right.
So our social contact is being, you know, degraded. So you have to. So sometimes you can come out with rules like, okay, when we go to the restaurant, let us all put our phones aside.
Makes sense.
Yeah. There was a picture I saw on Pinterest that said that let us pretend that it is 1966.
Right.
You know,
where phones were not in existence.
There are no mobile phones. You know, so you engage more in human-to-human contact.
There's also an effect on our finances.
Of course, you know, they come at a cost, and for some of us, you always want to chase the latest technology.
Right.
Okay. So you get so much addicted into what is latest that you always have to get them, which in itself is a stress on you. Just thinking about, oh, I have to get the latest iPhone 13, iPhone 14, iPhone 100, you know. So you're always stressing yourself.
Exactly.
And it also takes a financial kick, because once you buy a phone and you have not utilized it to the full, okay, and a new one comes out and you go chasing it, you are going to take some depreciation hit, even if the device is working 100%. You know? So it also affects you. Then we can also talk about other consumer tech, like televisions, for example. Everybody wants the biggest, shiniest TV set in their room. But you don't just go out and just buy the biggest TV set out there. You have to look at, okay, where am I going to position that TV? What is the size of the area that I'm going to consume the contents that is available on that TV, you know. So you consider that and buy what will work for you. If you buy a very big screen and the area is so small that you sit so close to the screen, you are straining your eyes, okay, and it's going to have a lot of effects on you.
I mean, the light penetration into your eye and
too much of that, and with time you're going to have serious issues with your sight.
There's also a link to obesity and all.
Of course, of course. I mean, if you are going to be so heavily invested, okay, in consumer tech, especially when it comes to consuming content on screens, using and playing something like games, and some of these things stretch long hours, okay? These days we have professional gamers, and sometimes it requires that you sit at a desk for long hours, okay? And the most you can do is to feed yourself on
junk food.
Exactly. And with time, you are going to become obese because you're going to put on weight, you're going to pack on the calories, and you need to shed that. So these are some of the issues, and we have to be aware of them.
Talk to us about the RSS and the RSI.
Okay, so when we talk about RSS, that's repetitive stress syndrome, and RSI, repetitive stress injury. Okay, like I mentioned, you use this mobile phone every time your thumb is going across the screen, typing text, pushing this here, sliding this there. Okay, with time,
it puts a strain on your tendons.
It puts a strain, and it wears out the joints, and it becomes an ulcer. So it's going to you're always going to have pain in that area.
If you notice, when you stay on the phone for long, sometimes you feel you've lost sensitivity. And then at the point when you drop the phone, it's like your thumb is shaking.
It's shaking. Yeah. You know, if you do it continuously for many years, it's going to become something that it's stuck with you. Okay, so you're always going to have that pain. So you should measure how you do it. Then when we talk about repetitive stress syndrome, okay, injury as compared to syndrome. Injury is physical. Syndrome is in your mind. So sometimes immediately you see your computer screen, you are tired. Okay? And you say you are stressed, but you can't link the two. But that is what is really happening, because your brain associates work with computer screen or with a screen. So anytime a screen appears in front of you, you feel tired. Okay, even when you have rested, probably you just returned from leave, you know. Yes, so that is repetitive stress syndrome. It's in your mind. You've done the process so much that you are tired of it. Okay, so that is what it is. Sometimes you want to change your office setup so that you have a sense of freshness. And it will boost your productivity. So those are the effects and some of the solutions you can use to solve the issues.
But you see, with that, some will also argue that even on the device, you can change the display, change the coloring, the theme, and all that.
Yes.
So, I mean, it also gives you a fresh feeling. Is that like a,
but the question is that
remedy to the syndrome?
Yes, exactly. That's why I keep saying that the manufacturers, you see, they have a reputation to behold.
Right.
Okay, that is what is going to ensure that their business, sustains. Okay, so they always put together these interventions so that you keep coming back to buy their products. But if you're going to buy the product and you are not setting them up correctly, you are not changing the themes, you are not, adjusting the size of text, colors, and other things. For example, some of the phones have a feature in them to reduce what we call blue light.
Okay.
Usually in the evenings, because the science shows that when you are exposed to the blue light that the screens give, you find it difficult to sleep. Okay, so normally if you set it up correctly, maybe at 10 o'clock, maybe at 8 o'clock, you realize that the tint of your screen color has changed a little bit. It's a bit yellowish. That intervention is set up in there to prevent you or to help you sleep better after you switch off from the screen. But if you don't set it up or activate it, you're not going to be getting that benefit, and it is going to affect your sleep. And we all know that if you don't have enough sleep, you can have issues with obesity, premature aging, okay, your productivity, your confidence, everything is going to be very, very low. So these are some of the things that are being provided for us, and we have to set them up appropriately and utilize them.
Right, let's look at finally the arguments that, for apps or softwares like gaming, the argument that actually kind of boosts your intellect, and vis-a-vis the amount of time spent doing same and its impact also on the brain.
Yes, everything has its positives and negatives. And even in our local parlance, we say too much of everything is bad.
Right.
So everything has to be balanced out. Gaming has its own advantages. It improves your reflexes. You can learn from games. These days, there are even games that assess, your personality traits, your psychological level, and all those things, so that you can adapt to the office setting and a whole manner of things. Very, very important stuff, But if you overuse them, the negative effects are going to be more than the positive effects, and it is going to be a waste of effort, So everything has to be balanced out properly, and you always have to make sure that you are checking out all the positive points and canceling out all the negatives. That is what technology is for.
All right. Edward Opoku, head of new media here at Citi TV and Citi FM. Always grateful, and always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.